Hi, I'm Dana Guerrero, and I am going to be showing you how I put together my SIOP research folder. So here's the beginning page, and I know it looks backwards when it's filming, but it's my SIOP research folder, so it has the title of what this folder actually is, and then the picture here and my name right here listed. So that's the beginning part of the folder. Now when I open it up to the first page, you will see that it has listed the lesson preparation. Now this first page gives us a lot of ideas and actually suggestions on how to prepare a lesson that's going to meet both the state and district standards as far as a lesson is supposed to be put in order. It gives additional information about how to start right here, how to start an objective. And it gives those starter sentences, like for instance, it says students will be able to, and then you follow, the standards to finish putting that in there. And then it also gives some examples of, right here, some higher order content objective verbs, and then also some higher order language objective verbs. And then it gives also little pieces of information as far as to relate it to the literature, and then using like pictures and visuals for the student, demonstrating, and hands-on and multimedia. Just some ideas of what you can include in your lesson to make it well-rounded. And for the second page of my SIOP folder, this is building background knowledge. And this helps so that the students know a little bit about what you're going to be teaching, or you're building on the knowledge that they may have already with this lesson plan that you're going to be teaching them. So you can, like this right here, it says activate prior knowledge questions. These are the stems. So behind this it has different ideas, like who remembers, you can ask that question. What does this make you think of? They're just some stems to help you, to help the students to tie into what you're going to be teaching them. And then also here's some stems to connect to new content. So new information that they don't know, you can also ask some questions like, for instance, what do these two have in common? Or when have we talked about this before? Just so that you can connect that to new learning that the students are going to be learning. And it also lists like some academic vocabulary, and then other ways of being able to build the background for the lesson that you're going to be teaching. So it has all these little, just additional resources and additional help to guide you in building a lesson plan. Now that was page 3. Now let's go on to page 4. This one is comprehensible input, and this is just so that we tie it into the students. For instance, if you're not able to explain it well, or if the students aren't able to understand what you're saying, you can do or change the techniques as far as like making it easier for the students to understand. And then you can use, right here is different techniques that you can use to help the students understand that the lesson that you're going to be using, or that the lesson that you're going to be doing. Okay, and the next question, or the next page, is strategies. And these are just some other information like verbal scaffolding techniques, and this right here is to the side, but you can use, paraphrase, think aloud, reinforce, pronunciation, slow speech, and repeat. And then right here is our little ESL strategy packet. And just additional information to help those students who do have, who have English as a second language. As far as like, there's one strategy that's listed on here for cooperative learning groups. So just different ways that you can help the students to understand the lesson that you're actually teaching. The next page is page 6, and this is the interaction. So this one for instance, this part right here in interaction, it has little tabs that we can use to help with as far as like being able to activate student participation and just different ideas that we can use for interaction, and then also different ways or different things that we can use when we group the students together as well. And then we remember as far as like timing, and this right here. I love this part right here where we have the little clock, and then, don't interrupt, be patient, and give additional time. And just that so that we can make sure that the students are understanding the content that we are actually going over. And then the next one right here is on the same page, but it says practice and application. I like to use a lot of hands-on or manipulatives because I feel that students will remember that if you point that back to, like, do you remember when we did this? And, if it was like a hands-on, they tend to remember that kind of information, or anything that they make also is very helpful, or seems to be that they remember that information more. And next we have lesson delivery, and that's just me as a teacher delivering that information to the students as far as like the content, the language, whether or not the students are engaged, and then the pacing of the lesson. It just gives some additional information as far as like you can measure, whether or not they understand the information, or observe what they're doing to see whether or not they do understand what you are actually teaching them. And the next part is review and assessment. So with this, it's just being able to go back, and you can either do, it has like informal or creative formal assessments to see whether or not the students understood what you did teach them. And then there's just different ideas of assessments that you can use. If you're doing the informal, you can do observations, conversations, quick writes. I like to do quick writes. And then, or, the creative part, you can have them either make a PowerPoint presentation, create a poster. So those are just additional information or ideas that you can use for assessments. And then next we have our little booklet, or on our last page is the English Language Proficiency Standards, or our ELPS. And make the little booklet with each, like the learning strategies, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And that's just also additional information to help us when we are making our lesson plans, to make sure that we are tying that into the standards. And then last we have in our little packets here, I have the ELPS, which is the proficiency level descriptors, and I have this inside the protectors at the back. And then I also have the colorín colorado, just additional information that we can use. So this is my SIOP research folder. I found it very interesting to be able to go step by step and finding out, what we actually do when we do. I mean, we can have the directions listed for us, but doing this and actually seeing this, and this is hands-on, which I like, I really felt that this was a good way for us to be able to break down how we do a lesson, and that I think that I'm going to use this when I am in class. I'll be able to use this when I am doing my lesson plans to just help me overall to make sure that I am getting those pieces that I need to in the lessons, and then also using, different type of material that I wouldn't have thought of that is listed on here that I could do. So I just thought that this was a very useful tool, and I'll be able to use it. Thank you.